Hello everyone, this is Miran Nuts, and today we'll be continuing our beginner friendly road to SCP video series. And today we'll be looking at another hack the box machine, that is Shocker. And Shocker is a Linux machine and it is relatively easy, so let's just get started. So first thing, what I always do is I run an auto recon scan, and I'll be using sudo because I want to run it as root since I'm running the system as Kali, and I'll be giving the Python 3 because it has to be run, executed as Python 3. And you have to give the auto recon part wherever the auto recon file is present, and you give the IP address, target machine's IP address, that is 10.10.10.56. In the case of Shocker, you give the output directory O, and you'll be giving the whichever directory, sorry, you'll be giving the output switch and be giving the output directory where you guys want to save the scan results. Okay, so I already did execute the scan, so I don't want to do it again. So let's just first go and look at the scan results. We'll check out the full TCP and map scan, and we see that there are only two ports open over here. That is port 80 and port 22222. Okay, it's running SSH, and port 80 is running HTTP. So first thing, obviously, it's running HTTP. We'll go and check, what that web page is about. So we'll just go and check, and it says like, don't bug me. Go do view page source, and we see that we do not have any much information over here. It just redirects us to this bug.jpg file, which probably will be lying somewhere around over here. Okay, that's it, and nothing else. If you see view image info as well, I don't see anything particular over here. Okay, so this is the first thing. Check the web page. You don't find anything, no login, no things to click. So what we'll do is we'll just go and probably run our GoBuster scan. So before that, we'll obviously locate for our uh, common.txt. So if you do locate, and we'll locate your file, that is the word list which we are using. Okay, so if we cat this word list, we see there are like around 4,000 entries. Okay, there are 4,000 directory names. So what this thing is gonna do is basically, suppose if you consider like YouTube or Y-Shop or something, or Zap, Zend. Okay, so I know these directories will look a bit odd, but consider the www. Okay, so what it's gonna do is it's gonna take this, it's gonna put www over here, and it's gonna put www1, then 2, then 3. Okay, like whichever was there in that file, like whichever this file consists of, right? Sorry, this thing over here, then it will go for www join, wt, wss, or stat, something like wss, stats. Okay, dev. So it will go across all the 4,000 words, and it will send a HTTP response, right? So that means the GoBuster will get a response, and it will analyze it, and it will send you the output that whether this directory exists, or was it moved, or was it, deleted, or you don't have authorization to access this directory, or something like that. So it will give you multiple responses. So this is how GoBuster works. I know most of you guys may already be aware, but then, yeah, so now what we'll do is, since we already have the location present, we'll be running our GoBuster scan, and we'll be giving the directory mode as dir directory because we want to do a directory scan, and then we'll do we'll give HTTP, as well as we'll be giving the target machine's IP address, that is 10.10.56 in this case. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll be giving the word list. This is the one, the common text file, right? So I had the directory location saved. So enter the entire location and give the word list, and then you can probably output it as GoBuster scan txt or something like whatever you like, or wherever you want to. If you want to put in some directory or something. So I already did execute the scan, so I don't want to do it again. This scan gets over really fast, but I have already executed it. So this is oops. So this is our scan result, and this is what we got. And we perform the scan. We CGI bin, HTML, server status. That's it. This is what we found over here. Only these three things. Probably you can go and do the medium scan as well. The medium scan, I don't think it will show anything much interesting. So these are the things which we found over here. Okay, so if you check server status, it's basically it found something like, okay, something it says you don't have permissions. Okay, so this is one thing, and it says like 403. So we'll go to index.html. Probably it will be the same bug page. Don't bug me. Okay, so now we'll go to the CGI bin. Okay, we'll go to CGI bin. It says forbidden, you do not have permissions to access. CGI bin on the server. So now we are out of options. We just have the port 2222. Probably don't try and go and brute force things over there, SSH. Okay, and so what we'll do, we'll just quickly, we have the port 80. We have one folder present over here, that is CGI bin. So what we'll do next is, we'll try and run a go buster scan. Okay. Probably, oops. We'll run this, okay, and we'll be giving the directory name over here, that is CGI bin. Okay, the directory which is present over here, we'll be giving that. The reason is, now what we'll do, since we have CGI bin, right, now we'll test for files over here like WSS, www, test, dev. Okay, so it will check files over here because we have given this directory part, right? So it will check for files over here now. Okay, so I know most of you guys are aware, but still just beginner tip. Okay, so this is going to run as CGI bin and it's going to go over here. We'll be giving the common text. Now another thing what I want to do is, because I was not successful without giving an important thing over here. So the other thing, obviously you give the output as go buster, and you have to give an extension. Okay, so extensions are very important over here because what it will do, I'll just let you all know in some time. So basically we'll give an extension. Okay, we'll give an X extension like the X switch, and we'll be giving probably common extensions. Okay, like common extension would be like PHP, probably HTML, then TXT, and then SH, and then we have CGI, because CGI is very important because we already have CGI bins, right? So probably there'll be some CGI scripts present over here. So that's why it is very important to include CGI as well. And we'll be having another things like Python maybe, and Perl. Okay, so we'll be having these things present. Okay, so you can give an extension in common text. Probably it will take some more time, but it would not take as long as the medium text without these extensions. So probably can run this. Okay, over here itself, PHP, HTML, TXT, SS, CGI, PY, and PL. Okay, so this is what the extensions are going to work, and how it works is, now consider we have this dev directory over here. Okay, so first it will go normally, it will check for, hey, you know what, is dev present? Server response, no, it is not present. Like, okay, fine, is dev sorry, PHP present? Server like, hey, dev PHP exists. Okay, response 200. We're like, great, okay, now is dev TXT present? We're like, hey, no, we don't have dev TXT over here. Okay, so I'll check for another thing like dev SH present. We're like, hey, you know what, we don't have this file as well. And we'll check for dev py present. We're like, hey, we have this file over here, so it will respond with a 200. Okay, so that's how this thing is going to work. So extension basically, it will enumerate one by one. So it took the dev folder, right? Then it will probably take that www folder. It will check for same thing again, like PHP. So this is one entry. Then the other entry will be like text file. Other would be py. Other would be like Perl probably. Okay, so that's how it's gonna work, and it's gonna check for extensions. So this is one important thing. Like sometimes the scan results don't show up anything. So try to run scans after the directories, and as well as include these extensions as well. So I don't want to run the scan again because I already did execute, and this, since we are giving the extension now, so it may take as many times, so like once, twice, thrice, maybe like 4, 5 times more to run the scan. So we'll just quickly look at the results of the scan, and we see that we have a file which is user.sh over here. Okay, so probably looks interesting. Let's go and check it out. So the file is present over here itself, right? CGI bin. It's not present uh, after that 56. Okay, so it says, okay, we have this file. It says like open with or something. Let's just open it. And it says content type, text plain, just an uptime test script. That's it, nothing else. It just shows an uptime in some script, okay? Like an output script basically. Does not give any much information over here. So what we'll do is, now we have this user sh. We have a file present, okay? We have this directory, and this directory is very important. Why? Because CGI scripts are present. So if you guys don't know, CGI scripts are, in the web server, it's vulnerable for Shellshock vulnerability. Okay, and that's how we'll be looking at that first. Now, why we are looking at Shellshock specifically? Because we have no other options. We have very limited. We have only two ports open, and in that port also we found this scan, user.sh file, and we can probably check for Shellshock. And while in the meantime, when you're checking for Shellshock, probably you can run another GoBuster scans, okay, the medium text along with this extension, and to see if you get any interesting information. But for now, we do not have anything, so probably just go with this. We'll try and check and see if this is vulnerable to shell shock. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll use the nmap scan, and in nmap there's a vulnerability scanner. You can use scripts, so probably we can use that. So what we'll do, we'll locate shell shock and see it will give this HTTP shell shock script. We'll take that, and I'll just show you all how to use the nmap script. Sorry, the scanner. So we'll be doing nmap, and then we'll be giving the SV, we'll be giving the port as 80, and we'll be giving the script now. So that is script is equals to location, paste it. Then we'll be giving the target IP address, that is 10.10.10.56. Okay, we can output it to nmap scan or something like that. Okay, I already did execute the scan. It does not take much long. It happens very fast. And if you see the scan results, it actually shows nothing over here. It'll just show you the service history, and it'll be like, hey, you know what? There's nothing. We don't have anything. It's not vulnerable, I think. So probably, anybody would be confused, like, oh, I don't think it's vulnerable. But since we don't have any option, we are limited to only this particular one file over here. Let's try and do all sorts of things, right? So let's just check for shell shock vulnerability over here. Okay, so what we'll do is, first thing, we'll set up a proxy listener, because we'll send this request to burp suite. We'll set this, same local IP address plus the port number. Say okay, go over here, and obviously the proxy will be having the same thing. Just make sure it's running same IP address, port number. Okay, now what you'll do is you'll just go over here and reload the page first. Okay, once the page is reloaded, we go to HTTP history. You can intercept it as well and then send it to repeater, but you can do this. Okay, don't reload it. Use use that. Okay, we don't need the file, so we'll just cancel. We just need the request. Okay, we have the request over here, user.sh. Okay, this is the request which we are looking for. Text file, extension says sh. Okay, so this is what we are looking for. Now send it to repeater. Now we are in the repeater. First thing what we'll do is we'll just check how to exploit shell shock. Simple, man. I do this simple search and I get some article or something like that. Check for shell shock. Okay, so if you guys want to know what actually shell shock is about, and go a little bit more into it, you can check it out over here. But yes, you can have a remote code execution done with Shellshock, and it actually explains better in the NetSparker. It's quite easy to understand. So this looks like a HTTP request, right? And these are all the headers, like get header, user agent, host, referral. Sorry, these are the headers, right? And it says like, hey, you know what? You add a header in some referrer header, not specific to referrer. You can add it to any header. So you add this particular magic formula, and once you add this magic formula, probably after that you can have a remote command execution done. So now this does not apply across all web servers, okay, all requests, HTTP requests. So just because the server may be vulnerable to shell shock, so that's why they are adding this particular thing. So what we'll do is we'll just take this, just be careful, there's a space over here, okay. So make sure you include that as well. We'll take this, copy it, I will add it to a burp suite. So we will take it. We do not have any referrer over here. So probably we'll just try it in Mozilla first. We'll go with this colon. We'll paste it. It's like okay, we got it. So this is the magic formula which you guys have to look for. You have to enter it as it is over here, and probably have a space, and then enter your some remote command execution. Okay, so now we have this, and okay, we just close this now. We'll set up a TCP dump, because whenever we have remote command execution, we'll just try and check for TCP dump. Okay, and we'll see that if we send a ping request probably to the target, sorry, we try and send a ping request to our attack machines from the target machine, like when we do remote command execution, so it will send something. So what this whole thing is about, It's like, hey, you know what, the header starts here, right? The host header, user agent. So this is somewhat like a termination script, okay? The formula, okay? It's like basically in SQL when we, terminate a query. So it's the same thing as that. So it's like, hey, you know what? The headers have been terminated. Now you can probably enter some malicious bash code leading to RC, something like that. Okay, I'm just writing it out just to show. Probably you can enter some malicious code over here once you have terminated this. It's like, oh, hey, you know what? This is the only thing headers are, and here after that we can probably write some remote code execution. So that's how this whole thing works. So probably we'll just go and use the ping command. Okay, so we'll be using the ping command. We'll set up a TCP dump for that. We'll be using sudo because we had to run it as root. We'll be using TCP dump, and we'll be giving the ICE switch for interface, and we'll be giving tunnel 0 because that's the HackTheBox VPN which I'm connected to, and I'll be giving ICMP packets only because ping is in the form of ICMP packets. It does not send TCP packets. Okay, so we'll just enter. So if you guys don't know what TCP dump is, it actually shows you any connection which is coming into your system. Okay, so any connection which is coming, probably just yeah. So it will actually show you any connection, whichever. Suppose if we do a remote code execution, right, and we send this quick packet, so it will actually show up over here. And the reason for this is will come to know that whether this remote code execution was successful or not. Okay, so what we'll do is have this ping command set over here. Okay, I forgot to give this count, that is 1. Send it. Oops, we do not get anything as such, I think. Okay, we do not get any command. It says some error over here as well, server error. Okay, what we'll do now is, since we have the ping, and obviously many of you will be like, hey, you know what, I don't think this is vulnerable to Shellshock. Another thing what you can do is, you can probably just add bin over here and add ping over here. Because sometimes this path is not set, okay, the bin bash. So if how it works is, now in our terminal we enter anything, right? Suppose if I'm entering ping, so obviously there's a path set which says like, hey, firstly this is the bin bash part, and then once we enter pin, it will be like, bin ping. So in the ping, sorry, bin ping, something like that. Okay, so this is the bash, right? We are running bash commands over here, and so if we write ping, so now if we do ping, so probably it's like bin bash and then ping. Okay, so this is what we can try over here. Rather than going for this first, we can do that, and we can give the C switch, and we'll be giving the single quotes. Okay, we have our TCP dump working. So this is what I was trying to say. This environment is bin bash, and by default over here it is bin bash. Okay, just consider this thing to be bin bash. It is not displaying, it's hidden over here. Okay, secretly hidden. So whatever command we put over here, and we'll be getting some output. So this is how it works. So, and we'll be giving this, okay, C switch for command. We'll be giving this entire command to be executed. Let's see if this works. And we see that we get a request, okay, the ICMP echo request, and we send the ICMP echo reply. This is our attack machine, sorry, target machine's IP address. This is our attack machine system over here. Okay, we get the request. Now, what I'll show, another thing I'll show is that you can just, what do you say? Okay, just copy it probably and paste it over here. Okay, and the user agent part, you can probably just take it from here itself and paste it. Okay, take it. Oops. Just so that we don't end up in any error, I have taken this, sending one ping packet again. We have this one request which had come earlier. Let's try and send it. Okay, so we got it again. So in short, I just want to show you that it's not limited to probably user agent only, or the accept thing over here, or the accept language thing. It's not only limited to that. You can probably check for other headers as well. So now, since we already have it in this accept encoding, and we have the bin bash over here, so we'll probably try and write this. You find a reverse pentest monkey reverse shell using bash. So we'll be using pentest monkey. Okay, we'll take this, copy it, and probably paste it over here. So another thing what I want to show you all is, I'll just remove this for now. How I got to know that probably, you have to enter this bin bash, then this command will be executed. How I got to know is with this. I'll just show you all. I just like, hey, you know what, I think ping command is not working. Let's just try bash command. Okay, probably ping is not present in this for some reason. I don't know. I just assume that. So I was like, let's just try what goes in trying, right? So I just tried this, okay, the bash script. And this is basically the reverse shell for bash. I'm going to be sending some remote command execution over there. And, from the Shocker machine, it will be like, hey, you know what? I'm sending connection to port 444, and we are listening over here in our netcat listener. Okay, so let's just try and do that first. And see NVLP 4444. Okay, so we're listening in netcat, right? So this is how I came to know that probably I have to add a bin bash over here. Like it just tricked me. And so like, hey, okay, I got some connection from here, but it says like bin bash no such file or directory. Okay, so that's how I thought probably we'll have to enter this bin bash thing. Okay, so now let's just try with bin bash. Bin bash, okay. Let's start on that catalyst now. Okay, I don't think we require this anymore, so we'll just close it. Okay, and close this, close subterminal. Okay, we'll send it. And we see we have a shell as the user Shelly, and we are in the CGI bin directory. So let's go to home probably. LSLA, we have this user Shelly over here, LSLA, and we have a user text. Obviously, we can very well read it. So even though it belongs to root, this, the root user as well as the group, we belong to the others category. So in the others category, we can very well read this file. So we can go and read it. Okay. So this is how we achieved, the initial foothold. We got it over here. And because there was only one way, like, the user sh file, so that's why we kept trying and, try to successfully execute and get this shell. Okay. So now we have a shell over here. First thing, obviously, check for system information, check for that, then check for sudo l. So these are the manual checks which you have to do always. If I don't find anything over here, then I probably go and run, lin enum or winp, sorry, not winpiece, linpiece. So I probably run those script to check if there are any additional information, and then I manually check some other things as well. Okay. So now we see over here, when we do sudo l, so we see that, hey, you know what, the user Shelly can run the following commands on Shocker, because Shocker is the system's name, right? So we can run the following commands over here, which is root command using the root privilege. We don't have to enter any password, okay, and we can use the Perl over here. Okay, so we can use Perl functionality. So not functional, but yeah, we can use the Perl scripting engine. So probably what we'll do is we'll use sudo. Now what sudo l basically is doing is sudo l like, hey, you know what, I'm giving you sudo l privilege. So I'll just tell you all how sudo l works. Again, most of you all may be aware, but just in case. So there's a service probably in Shocker, right? So there's a service called run server. Okay, just for example. Okay, and this can be run, actually executed only from the user that is okay, we need only root can execute this command. Okay, because this particular server over here, it actually requires root permissions to execute few files or something, right? Like how we saw we are executing the TCP dump, right? We needed root. For some reason, sometimes it happens that you require root permissions to execute some things, like few things, successfully. So we require root permissions over here, but we cannot execute this run server as the user probably will consider Shelly. Okay, so we cannot execute it using Shelly. So now what we'll do is we have the Shelly user over here, right? But like, hey, you know what? He's like trying and running this server. Like, hey, you know what? I want to run this server, but it's like, hey, I cannot give you this run permissions. You cannot run this probably. You cannot run it directly or clearly. So what it will be like, hey, you know what? This root user has assigned some rule, which is a sudo l. Be like, hey, Shelly, you can you use my privilege to run this user. then it can run, not user, sorry, the service. So it can run the server. So that's what it's basically doing. The sudo L command means, is there any other privilege which you have? So you know, here we have this root command, right? So now I can run from Shelly. I'll be like, hey, I'll be using this root command, and I'll be using the Perl script over here since the Perl is present, right? So I can probably enter Perl and I can use Perl using root privilege. Okay, that was weird. Okay, so that's how this entire sudo L works. Okay, Shelly in short will run commands as root, and what we'll do is, since Perl is installed over here, we go to reverse, shell this thing. We see over here this shell, Perl shell is present. We can just take this, copy it, and probably don't paste it directly over there on the. Well, I'm not saying to don't paste it because you have to edit it. So if you have to go, you have to delete it entire, because if you do left arrow keys, this is what it's going to give you. So probably I just use it on cherry tree or some other notepad. Okay, so now we have this Perl command which we can use. We have used socket. So just read through it. We don't have to change anything. Everything is done and set. Only thing we have to change is this IP address over here. That is the attack machine's IP address. I'll be 1420. Okay, so this is one way you can do it. Not 444 now because 444 is already in use over here. It's listening, right? So we'll be just giving this. We'll be adding another 5555. Okay, so now we have sudo L. Now how we'll be using this Perl command is, we'll be using sudo. And we can give the entire path as well. Okay, like bin Perl and then give the command switch. Or we can just be like, hey, you know what, sudo Perl and execute. Okay, so that's how we are going to do it. We'll just take this, copy it. You don't have to change anything else, just recheck it. Don't have to. Just take, since I already copied the Perl with E, so I don't want to do that. I'll just enter, just start it and press sudo, paste it and press enter, and let's see what happens. So another thing you can do is in the bash over here, okay, you can enter bin bash ash, bash, sorry. You can enter that, you get a better shell. I'll just show you all what happens. So this is what we are going to get. It's like sh shell, and obviously we got our shell and we are in the system as root. You can go to root directory, SLA. We have a root text over here. Obviously, we can read it as well. Okay, so this is as the privilege escalation is very easy over here, and we got the Perl script. Since we are able to execute Perl as root, we have the Perl script. There are multiple things. Some boxes may have like you can execute Python as root, or like you can execute some other commands as root over here. Okay, so PHP and all, obviously it will come more handy in web pages where you have to eject this into some file, and from the web page you call it. Okay, so this is how the privilege escalation was done. So another thing what I want to show you all is over here. I'll just close this. Okay, we return to a shell on top, right? So we can have a bash shell as well. Nothing too significant, but obviously bash is better than sh, not very limited. So if you run this, it will give you like a better shell, like with the pwd over here, working directory, it shows everything. So you can have a better shell. It looks nice. Okay, sorry. I just executed that as Shelly itself. So we see, my bad, sudo, okay, sudo. Yeah, now we are over here as root. Okay, shocker, home, Shelly. So we can just probably go back. It's a bit better. That's nothing major difference. So, okay, so that's how it's done. Another thing is you can probably do is just use sudo, perl, use the e switch, and write esec over here, I guess, execute. Okay, and okay, I think we have to enter this first, and then esec bin min bash I. Okay, let's see if this works. Oops, I don't think that worked. So probably just check for perl esec bin bash. So I don't think we require the brackets over here, I guess, and because of okay, I think I messed up because I gave the bracket over here earlier. That was my bad. Well, just give the E switch and then say execute and probably execute bin bash I and then probably just close it again, I guess. Just close it, yes, and see. No. Okay, so it just gives something like no job control in the shell, but it's like we already in the system as root. Okay, so if we do mi, it says root. Okay, so that's how it was done. Like you can, instead of sending a different shell, you can add a shell inside of a shell. Like we have seen that multiple times, right, earlier as well. Like you add this shell. This was the shelly shell. Shelly shell. That sounds weird. Okay. So shelly shell, okay, and inside that we added another shell that was of root. So probably it's like from the Perl we added another shell as root over here. Okay, bit color coding. Okay, fine. So that's how it was done inside our shell, and probably I think we can exit also, and it will get back to our shelly shell. So we are over here as shelly. Okay, so these are the just small things which may come handy somewhere or the other if we get stuck. Okay, thanks a lot everyone, and hope you guys like the video. If you guys liked it, give a thumbs up and do subscribe for more interesting videos. And if there is anything else which probably I missed out or I could have done better, so do let me know in the comments as well. Okay, thank you, and do subscribe.